In an emotional ceremony that marked the end of an era, Prince William, Prince of Wales, stood as the representative of his father, King Charles III, at the state funeral of Pope Francis. The funeral, held at the St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City, drew world leaders, monarchs, and millions of faithful Catholics, all coming together to bid farewell to a pontiff who had redefined the role of the modern pope. The passing of a spiritual giant. Pope Francis, born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in Buenos Aires, Argentina, passed away peacefully at the age of 88. His papacy, spanning over a decade, was marked by an unwavering commitment to humility, compassion, and social justice. Even in his final years, Pope Francis remained a tireless advocate for the poor, the marginalized, and the environment, becoming a global symbol of moral authority beyond the walls of the Vatican. His death was met with an outpouring of grief across the world. Streets in Rome became rivers of mourners carrying candles, flowers, and handwritten prayers. The bells of St. Peter's rang out solemnly, their echoes stretching across the centuries, a haunting reminder of the historical weight of the moment. A royal representation. With King Charles III recovering from a recent health setback, a minor surgery that required several weeks of rest, the decision was made for Prince William to represent the British crown. It was a choice that carried immense symbolic weight. Prince William, a figure often seen as the bridge between centuries of monarchy and a rapidly changing world, embodied the spirit of duty and continuity his family holds dear. Dressed in a black mourning suit adorned only with a simple silver cross, William arrived at the Vatican under gray Roman skies, his demeanor respectful and solemn. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Standing among presidents, prime ministers, and patriarchs, the future King of Britain paid his respects not only as a representative of his nation but as a symbol of the enduring relationship between the British monarchy and the Holy See, a relationship that has been, historically, complex and sometimes fraught, but always significant. The ceremony. The funeral mass was a tapestry of ritual and reverence. Ancient Latin chants rose and fell beneath the soaring ceilings of the basilica. Cardinals clad in crimson vestments processed solemnly down the marble nave. The scent of incense hung heavily in the air. At the heart of the ceremony was a simple casket made of cypress wood, in accordance with Pope Francis' wishes for a humble funeral, in keeping with the modesty he lived by. Prince William was seated among an array of global dignitaries: U.S. President Maria Gonzalez, French President Etienne Moreau, and Japan's Emperor Naruhito, among others. Cameras occasionally caught glimpses of him, head bowed, deep in reflection. It was during the prayers of the faithful that a surprising and moving moment occurred. Representatives from major world religions, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, were each invited to offer a prayer. As the Anglican representative, Prince William was called forward to read a short prayer for unity and peace, bridging centuries-old divides between the Anglican Communion and the Roman Catholic Church. His voice, steady but tinged with emotion, carried through the basilica. "We give thanks for the life and ministry of Francis, servant of the servants of God. May we honor his legacy by walking together in the ways of justice, mercy, and love." The room seemed to hold its breath, and for a moment there was no division, no politics, only shared humanity. An unwritten message. Royal watchers and political analysts alike noted the deeper significance of William's role at the funeral. His very presence, youthful, forward-looking, and humble, spoke to a vision of the future monarchy, one that seeks reconciliation, understanding, and global engagement. Commentators observed that while Queen Elizabeth II's reign was defined by an almost sacred adherence to tradition, William's emerging leadership style seems poised to blend reverence for the past with a keen sense of present challenges. In honoring Pope Francis, he was also quietly signaling the monarchy's continued relevance in a world craving authenticity and connection. Private moments. After the public ceremony, Prince William was granted a private moment with members of the College of Cardinals and Pope Francis' closest aides. Reports suggest that he expressed heartfelt condolences on behalf of the British people and King Charles. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Later, in the Vatican Gardens, he visited a small plaque commemorating the historic 2014 meeting between Pope Francis, the late Queen Elizabeth II, and then Prince Charles, a quiet acknowledgement of how far relations between Britain and the Vatican had evolved over the decades. Observers said William spent several minutes alone there, head bowed in prayer. The world reflects. As world leaders returned to their capitals, the global media painted the funeral as not just an ending, but the beginning of a new conversation about leadership, faith, and unity. In London, black banners flew at half-mast over Buckingham Palace and Westminster Abbey. King Charles released a personal statement from Sandringham. His Holiness Pope Francis was a man of extraordinary humility and vision. His compassion transcended boundaries of faith and nationality, and his legacy will endure in the hearts of all who long for peace and justice. My son, the Prince of Wales, attended his funeral on behalf of us all, bearing the solemn gratitude of the British people. Across social media, tributes flooded in. Hashtags like #FarewellFrancis, #UnityandFaith, and #WilliamInVatican trended worldwide. A new chapter begins. As the final notes of the funeral hymn faded into the Roman twilight, many wondered what the future would hold for the Catholic Church. Already speculation about the next conclave, the secretive election of the new pope, was beginning to swirl. For Prince William, however, the day was about something simpler and deeper. Honoring a life dedicated to service, reminding the world that leadership at its best is an act of humility, not power. In representing King Charles III at one of the most significant religious events of the century, William once again showed that the House of Windsor remains a living, evolving institution. One capable of profound respect, quiet diplomacy, and meaningful connection in an increasingly fragmented world. And as he left the Vatican, pausing one last time to look back at the towering basilica, Prince William carried not only the hopes of his nation but, perhaps, the whispered blessing of a pope who believed that in every act of mercy and unity, the world itself is made new. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.